Tonight, the highlights of an action-packed weekend of Trojan athletics.
Plus, we'll show you ways to get to know this year's SGA candidates. Stay tuned. Troy TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Nightly News for February 18th, 2013. I'm Amanda Ford.
And I am Bailey Majors. Thank you for joining us this evening. Troy University students have the chance to decide who will be in charge of the Student Government Association this week, and they can get to know the candidates a little better by going online. The SGA officers are now online at Troy University's YouTube page. The televised SGA debates were taped last week, and now they are online for students to watch to get better acquainted with the candidates on the ballot on Wednesday's election. Current SGA President Will Thompson says this type of accessibility makes her a better informed voter.
I think that anytime you get to have that one-on-one connection with a student, espousing your particular views on certain subjects, I think that has a tremendous effect as opposed to, seeing your platform written down on a sheet of paper.
The SGA officers debate can be seen on the Troy University YouTube page at youtube.com/TroyUni. The debate will air again tonight at 7 here on TrojanVision, and for a chance to hear from the presidential debates in person, the Metropolitan is holding a presidential debate tonight at 6 in the Trojan Center ballrooms.
Troy University's Library Services is trying to help students write better papers and avoid getting in trouble in the process. The library is holding a writing and plagiarism workshop tomorrow afternoon at 1:30. The purpose of the workshop is to teach students how to properly use and cite sources when writing a paper so they can avoid the bad grades and possible academic punishment that can result in plagiarism.
It's been a difficult problem with international students as well as our students, that they don't seem to understand exactly what plagiarism is, and the workshop is to help them understand what plagiarism is and how not to do it, because if you plagiarize, you're going to get a bad grade.
Once again, the next plagiarism workshop will be tomorrow at 1:30 in Wallace Hall, room 311.
The members of Troy's vocal jazz ensemble are taking their talents to the Troy community tomorrow night and introducing something unexpected. The group, known for their jazz stylings, will break from their traditional numbers and introduce a few blues and folk-inspired numbers for Tuesday's performance. The director of Frequency says it's a way for both the members of Frequency and the audience to learn a little music history.
I like to teach the audience that that's really where jazz came from. It has its roots in the indigenous folk music of this country and in the folk traditions, in the blues tradition, even in the sacred harp traditions. And it's music that the kids have grown up hearing. So it's sort of like starting from where they are and then working on their performance style and technique.
The concert will be tomorrow night at 7 in the studio in downtown Troy. Admission is free.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Montgomery, prosecutors say they'll ask the Alabama Supreme Court to overturn an appeals court decision throwing out the 2009 conviction and death sentence of a man accused of throwing 4 small children off a coastal bridge. The Alabama Court of Criminal Appeals ordered a new trial for Lam Lewing, ruling that the publicity surrounding the case made it impossible for the suspect to have a fair trial.
And in Dothan, television station WTVY News Director Jeff Raker has died. He was 65. WTVY-TV says on its website that Raker died Friday morning at Flowers Hospital in Dothan. The statement on the station's website extends condolences to Raker's wife Darcy, his son Zachary, and his daughter Alyssa. And in Birmingham, hundreds of residents should be receiving letters from federal environmental regulators detailing the results of contamination testing on their property. AL.com reports the letters are headed for residents of the Harriman Park, Collegeville, and Fairmont neighborhoods, which are located in a federal Superfund area. And still to come on Troy TrojanVision Nightly News, the Obama administration is working on an immigration proposal. We'll have the details on that story and more after the break.
Plus, one of the busiest sports weekends of the spring has concluded, and Danielle Percival will be in with your Trojan Sports coming up next.
The men's basketball team came up just short Saturday night in Coach Maestry's first attempt at win number 500. I'm Danielle Percival. I'll have more details coming up in sports. Nice.
Yes, go! Yes! No! Come on!
Oops.
Yeah, sure.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Doctor and nurse.
I want to work in the NFL.
Troy University's College of Health and Human Services prepares students for high-demand careers of today and tomorrow. Careers offering attractive pay and the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of others.
My courses aren't just classwork. I've worked with the Department of Human Resources to put my skills to work with helping people. I couldn't think of anything else I'd rather be doing.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Amanda Ford at the Global News Desk. Amanda.
Thanks, Bailey. A draft of a White House immigration reform plan is getting a frosty reception on Capitol Hill. Lawmakers working to craft their own overhaul bill are suggesting the administration is more interested in scoring political points than a bipartisan solution. The presidential aides say that's not the case. Danielle Nottingham has more from Washington.
Republicans are accusing President Obama of meddling in bipartisan immigration reform plans after a draft of the White House immigration reform proposal leaked over the weekend.
Leaks don't happen in Washington by accident. This raises the question that many of us continue to wonder about. Does the president really want a result?
The White House is downplaying the leak, saying the draft is only a backup if lawmakers don't come up with an immigration reform proposal.
We will be prepared with our own plan if these ongoing talks between Republicans and Democrats up on Capitol Hill break down.
In the Senate, 4 Republicans and 4 Democrats are working on hammering out their own deal. They're hopeful they will have a bill ready by March. President Obama has made immigration reform one of the top priorities of his second term.
The time has come to pass comprehensive immigration reform. Now's the time to do it.
The administration's leaked proposal would allow some illegal immigrants to become permanent residents within 8 years, boost funding for border security, and require businesses to know the immigration status of their workers. Republican Marco Rubio, one of the senators working on the bipartisan plan, blasted the White House draft, calling it dead on arrival in Congress. Rubio slammed the proposal for not addressing guest workers or the potential for a future influx of illegal immigrants. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Washington.
Reva Steenkamp's mother is demanding answers. Her daughter was found dead in Olympian Oscar Pistorius' South African home Thursday. He is charged with murder and is due in court tomorrow, the same day as Steenkamp's funeral. Tina Kraus has the latest from London.
Lawyers for Olympian Oscar Pistorius will seek bail for the runner on Tuesday. The double amputee has been in jail since Thursday, charged with murdering his girlfriend, model Reva Steenkamp. Her mother was quoted in a South African newspaper asking, "Why my little girl? Why did he do this?" But Pistorius's father says it was a tragic accident, that his son acted on instinct because he thought a burglar was in the house. Investigators have pieced together a different scenario. CBS News has learned police believe Reva Steenkamp slept next to Pistorius that night in his bed. She was still in her nightgown. That she was shot once in the bedroom, then tried to hide in the bathroom. And 3 more shots were fired through the door, hitting her as she covered her head with her hands. The shooting has unleashed a barrage of unconfirmed tabloid headlines, including one that police found a bloody cricket bat at the crime scene. South African journalist Mandy Wiener says that bat is a key part of the investigation.
They're looking at a few scenarios, we understand. The one is that Steenkamp may have used it to try and defend herself. There are reports that perhaps Oscar Pistorius may have used it to assault her at first.
Pistorius was the first amputee sprinter to compete at the Olympics. Now his legendary career is on hold. Tina Krause, CBS News.
And that wraps things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, you can tune in to Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now back to you, Bailey.
Thank you, Amanda. And now Danielle Percival joins us for a look at sports. So Danielle, action-packed weekend for Troy University athletics. We had a number of teams on campus at home over the weekend.
That's right, Bailey. We've got full coverage of all those athletic events from on campus from this past weekend, so we've got a lot to get into.
All right.
The Trojan baseball team kicked off the season this past weekend against Florida A&M. And as Taylor Burke shows us, they had to begin the series a little differently than they have for the past 4 seasons.
For the first time in 4 years, the Friday night starting pitcher for the Troy Trojans was not Tyler Ray. Instead, it was Troy native Will Starling on the hill. Starling struck out 5 batters over 3 scoreless innings of baseball, allowing just 1 hit and 1 walk to help lead the Trojans to an 8-2 Friday night victory.
Will had a lot of things going on with that Friday night game. Being a kid that grew up in Troy, had a lot of people here that knew him, a lot of family here.
We were joking in the locker room, this was the first time in 4 years somebody else except Tyler Ray started. So everybody wants to be the guy to pitch on Friday night. So especially, in front of the hometown crowd, it felt good.
The Trojans' bats exploded on Saturday in a doubleheader. The Troy batters sent the Florida A&M pitchers' ERA through the roof with 2 Mercy Rule wins on the same day. Troy won Game 2 of the series 22-5 and Game 3 11-1. The day was led by Danny Collins, who hit for the cycle in Game 2 and drove in a combined 8 runs on Saturday.
Hitting for the cycle is something I've never done, so it was really cool to experience it and accomplish something like that. It just, felt good swinging the bat this weekend and whatnot, so it was nice.
All in all, a great day for us, scoring a lot of runs, doing a lot of good things, getting the ball in the gap, a couple of home runs.
On Sunday, the Trojans picked up another Mercy Rule victory over Florida A&M. The Trojans knocked in 6 runs in the first inning and 6 more runs in the 4th inning to complete the 4-game sweep over the Rattlers, 12-2.
Ryan Brady threw pretty good, as did most of the pitching staff throughout the weekend. So, hey, it was a good opening weekend. We're 4-0. We're pleased with that, but certainly we got to continue to improve our team as we go.
Taylor Burke, Troy, Trojan Vision Sports.
After this weekend series, Danny Collins was named Louisville Slugger National Player of the Week this morning, as well as Sunbelt Conference Hitter of the Week. Collins went 8 for 14 over the weekend and drove in 9 runs. He ended the 4-game stint with 2 doubles, 2 triples, and a homer. The Trojans hope to continue their success as they have a weekend tournament in Orlando where they will face off against Texas Tech, UConn, and Central Florida. And across campus on the softball field, the softball team wasn't getting the season underway, but they were in their first action at home. Courtney Addison gives us a look at the Troy Subway Invitational.
The Troy softball team got the chance to play on their own turf for the first time this season on Friday afternoon. The Trojans kicked off the weekend playing Evansville. Troy was able to come away with the W, defeating the Purple Aces 5-0. Later that night, Troy fell to North Florida, giving up their lead at the end of the game. And this wouldn't be the only time Troy gave up an early lead.
We gave up a lead on the last play of the 7th inning and ended up losing that game. And you don't like to give up a lead late. And then we had actually a 5-run lead on Saturday afternoon against the same team, North Florida. And we had that 5-run lead in the 7th inning. And they were hitting, and we gave up 6 unearned runs.
Troy took on the Virginia Tech Hokies on Saturday afternoon but didn't come away with the win. The Hokies took an early lead against sophomore J.C. Felt, scoring 10 runs in total, while the Trojans were only able to squeeze 3 runs across the plate. Coach Davis added that errors and mental mistakes are 2 of the key reasons the Trojans weren't successful this weekend. But on Sunday, Troy capitalized on Evansville's 3 errors to put 5 runs on the board and only gave up 3 runs.
I'm just really proud that our kids, being very, very tired and very emotionally drained, were able to bounce back and defend our turf well on Sunday afternoon. So we're taking a day off today, and I think they're going to really work hard to be prepared to do a good job this weekend in Atlanta.
Courtney Addison, Troy, TrojanVision Sports.
2 Trojans were named to the all-tournament selection. Freshmen Rachel Rigney and Brittany Russ both made the all-tournament team. Troy will be back on the road for another tournament this weekend in Woodstock, Georgia. Thursday night, the men's basketball team won against Florida International, giving coach Don Maestri his 499th win at Troy. Saturday, they were back on court Maestri with the chance to make history. That was how close the Trojans came to victory Saturday night. Troy lost to North Texas 63-61 in a game that had 16 lead changes, 12 ties, and it all came down to the final shot.
The strategy was to get it down the court quickly. Hopefully, we didn't want to call a timeout so they could set the defense up. We tried to get it down, and hopefully there would be some scrambling going on, which there was. And they were worried about Hunter probably shooting the basketball, and next thing you know, Jeff was wide open, and he could have been a hero tonight. Saturday night was the first opportunity for the Trojans to attempt win number 500 for Maestri. Though players said it was certainly on their minds, Maestri said he didn't feel it added any pressure. The pressure that was put on us tonight was from North Texas. You know, the top 5 teams get a bye in the Hot Springs in the tournament. Well, 4 of them are locked, basically. We were playing for that 5th spot. If we could have been successful tonight, the 500, to be honest with you, would have been such a secondary thing. Late in the first half, Emil Jones suffered a shoulder injury and was taken out of the game. He did return after the break with his left shoulder wrapped and played most of the second half. Well, I'm more worried about the future and if it's going to bother him down the road. I don't know what exactly the injury was, but it bothered him enough to come out in the first half, so I knew it was pretty serious. And he said he had that same injury when he was at South Point High School. So, but I don't think that was the difference in the game. I'm not the one to make excuses. If I was going to be on the floor, then, I mean, I'm not going to blame it on their shoulder. If I was going to be on the floor, I expect myself to play well, and I just didn't have a great second half tonight. Danielle Percival, Troy, TrojanVision Sports. The Trojans will have another opportunity to get win number 500 for Maestri, but if they want to do it in the next 2 games, it'll have to come on the road. The Trojans will play at Louisiana Lafayette Thursday night at 7. And for the women's basketball team, their game against North Texas didn't come down to the wire. In fact, the Trojans had this one under control early. After their worst offensive output of the season, the women's basketball team dominated North Texas Saturday night 86-69. Coach Shanda Rigby knew the importance of her team getting back on track.
I felt like we came off an emotional win after the Middle Tennessee game and kind of flopped at the next game. And just as important, though, we came back off of that bad one and turned around to a great one this game. So those ups and downs are, you know, it's evidence of a young program. But I'm very proud of them. In the first half, the Trojans put more points on the board than they had the entire game against Florida International, and that provided the spark the team needed. It definitely put the air in our sails. That first 2 points we made, I think we scored in the first minute. I knew it would change everything. Our confidence was off the chart at that point. I don't even remember who scored it. It doesn't matter. The lid was off the basket in this game. Senior Sarah McCapian may not have led the Trojans in scoring, but she did have 12 points and celebrated her birthday with a win.
Every year I've played middle on my birthday at home, which hasn't been fantastic. So to get a win on my birthday is awesome, and my family here and all my friends have come into town to watch me play. So it's really good, and to get a 3rd conference win is a pretty big deal for us. The Trojans are now 6-19, and Rigby knows her team isn't giving up. Most teams, like I say all the time, most teams would have laid down by now. They wouldn't be giving this fantastic effort. They wouldn't come back and be improving so much. High character kids in this program, we're very proud of them. The women will also be in action in Lafayette, but on Wednesday night, Troy and Louisiana Lafayette will hit the court at 7 o'clock Wednesday. The Trojan women's tennis team faced 2 in-state teams this weekend, one at home and one on the road. On Saturday, the Trojans had their home opener against Samford and won 5-2 after dominating singles play. All 5 of Troy's wins came in straight sets, with only 1 set going into a tiebreaker. But the momentum from Saturday did not carry over to Sunday. The Trojans traveled to Birmingham and after building a 3-0 lead, lost 4-3 against UAB. Troy won the doubles point and 2 of the singles matches before losing the remaining 4 points. So Bailey, Amanda,
really good weekend in Troy athletics. Lots of sports, as you could tell. Pretty much the most jam-packed sports segment we've had all season so far. But very good start for the baseball team. You know, basketball season's almost over, so that means the spring sports are almost getting underway.
Absolutely. A fantastic weekend for Trojan athletics. You know, lots of wins, some loses, but we wish all the teams best of luck in their next endeavors.
That's right. Maybe win number 500 can come this Thursday for the men's basketball team.
Yes. Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Danielle. Still to come on Troy TrojanVision Nightly News, we'll learn how Pike County residents have the chance to help fight hunger in the community.
But first, this weekend we saw clear skies and cool temperatures. Will we need to bundle up this week? Jamarlo?
Well, Bailey, we may need to bundle up this week, but not just for cooler temperatures. I have that and more coming up next in weather.
Of one of the most influential women of our time. The woman who, after having one too many drinks, chose not to drive home buzzed. Here today to honor Rachel is the family whose lives she spared.
I would tell anybody, if you're getting your master's, I would start with Troy first.
It's easy, you can take classes online, you take them on the ground.
Because being a full-time mom, full-time dad, and working full-time with Troy, it was just perfect. It worked for us.
On campus or online, Troy offers you an extraordinary education with the flexibility you need. Troy University, it's all you need to know.
We both earned our masters in public administration, and I choose Troy.
We choose Troy.
That's right, we choose Troy.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Now Jamarlo Phillips joins us for a look at weather.
So Jamarlo, last week we saw a lot of rain, some clear skies this past weekend, but are we looking to see that rain come back our way this week?
Yes, we are, and I'll get into more of that right now. First, let's take a look at our campus snapshot. Taking a look across Bill Graves right now, we can see that the sun has begun to set. Going into our current conditions, we can see that our skies are clear right now. We're able to see humidity at 32% today, barometer reading 30.21 inches and falling, with our winds coming from the south-southeast at about 13 miles per hour. Taking a look at today's stats. Today, we're able to see a high of 61. Unfortunately, there was no rain in our area today. It's a good thing, actually, but we may see rain in the next 48 hours. Going into our temperatures from around the state, we can see that Mobile is sitting at 59 degrees, as well as Huntsville, Birmingham at 61, Montgomery is 62, in our area, Troy 61 degrees, Phoenix City is 60, and Dothan 61 degrees. Taking a look at our current temperatures across the southeast, we can see that we're still seeing those low 60-degree temperatures, but as we take a look across the United States, we can see that in the Texas area, just the southern Texas, they're experiencing very warm temperatures right now, up to the 80 and 81. Going into our current surface map, we can see that we have a bit of a cold front right here, as well with a few showers. And as we take a closer look into the southeast, we can see that these showers right here above Louisiana are going to be pushing into our area. So for the next 48 hours, we will be expected to see about a quarter of an inch of rain. But as we go into Tuesday's forecast, we can see that rain will try to push out of our area, going into the Georgia and Carolina areas. And as we take a look at Wednesday we should be clear of rain. And on Thursday, the rain will try to come back into our area. And maybe by Friday, we will see a greater chance and maybe even up to 1 or 2 inches of rain on Friday evening. Going into tonight's forecast, tonight we'll be seeing mostly cloudy skies with scattered showers after midnight. Winds coming from the south-southeast at about 11 miles per hour with a low of 45 degrees. Taking a look at tomorrow's forecast, tomorrow we will be seeing showers in the morning and partly cloudy in the afternoon with a high of 63 degrees. Taking a look at our 4-day forecast, taking a look at Tuesday. Tuesday we're expected to see a high of 63 degrees with a chance of rain. For Wednesday and Thursday, clear, and Friday, we're expecting to see a 70% chance of thunderstorms. So, Amanda, Bailey, as we can see for tonight, we definitely may need the umbrella for tonight.
Thanks, Jamarlo.
Thank you.
Thank you.